All right guys, welcome back. Today's video is going to be about supplementation. So we have a bunch of the supplements here we're talking about today. This video is only intended for information purposes only. It's not a replacement for your doctor, so please talk to your doctor before you do anything and do your own research. So with that said, let's jump into it. First thing I want to talk about is salt. Salt is extremely important. It's absolutely needed for your life and for your body. You can't live without it. So I know there's a lot of hysteria around too much salt and people telling you don't, a lot of medical advice not to take salt and whatnot. But there's refined and there's unrefined salt. So this is unrefined salt. Himalayan pink salt, Celtic sea salt from this brand here, Selena Naturally, and this is the highest level of trace minerals, and 93 I think, and just below that is the Himalayan pink salt. So you're getting tons of trace minerals, which are totally really necessary for your health and well-being. So I use the Celtic sea salt for just placing a few little granules in your mouth and drinking it down. I do that first thing in the morning. I'll take a little, you can use pink salt, but I recommend the Celtic salt because the Celtic salt has more parts of magnesium. And so there's like three types of magnesium that help to hydrate the cells of your body. So a lot of people are drinking a lot of water, which is good in a way, but at the same time, some people are actually overhydrating, and so they're depleting their bodies of certain electrolytes. So this is good. You'll get a little bit of electrolytes with the salt as well, and help to hold on to some of that water so your body can hydrate into the cells. Salt, super important, okay? So first thing in the morning, a little pinch. I just did this earlier, so this is a 750 ml bottle. Take a little pinch of the Celtic salt, put it in your bottle, and go about your day. So get hydrated with some salt. Also use this for cooking, but we have other, make sure you're using unrefined salt. So the problem with salt is, why there's a whole big thing about salt and low sodium diets and that kind of stuff. Refined salt is not necessarily very good for you. Now, with that said, it's not as horrible as they say either. So the reason people don't, so when you look at the blood serum tests and possibly other tests, you'll see sodium maybe is a little too high. You'll also see potassium is probably too low. Most people have too low of potassium and magnesium. And so high sodium and low potassium, that will, if you have too low of potassium, it's going to cause sodium to go up high. But that's just a ratio. Our bodies are full with different ratios from calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, and those zinc, copper. We have our bodies to be balanced. We need a healthy balance of those ratios, a balance of sodium to potassium. People aren't getting enough potassium in their food, in their diet. Sodium is going to go up too high, sodium is down too low. You got to balance it out. So that's what that's why we need electrolytes, which I'll talk about next. Electrolyte powder. So unrefined salt, good. Refined table salt, not so good. Not the worst, it's still not as bad as they say. But you don't want to have refined salt, or at least very often. You go out to eat, or you go out and you're at somebody else's house. Of course, it's just not that big of a deal. The idea is to get more potassium in your body. That's the next step. And then just eat regular unrefined salt. So, electrolyte powder. I use Dr. Berg's electrolyte powder. 100 servings. This seems to be the best bang for your money, your bang for your buck. So I take 1 scoop a day in my water, 16 or 24 ounces of water. Just drink it slowly, drink it over a couple hours. Usually people can't drink a whole liter or 3/4 liter anyways, but you don't want to have, the only contraindication is because there's 1,000 milligrams of potassium, which is totally fine. You don't want to have that all at once. It can cause a little bit of a palpitations and that kind of stuff. But it's totally fine to just drink it slowly. That's what you need that. You need to actually, you're not getting enough potassium from your diets. And if you are, you might be eating too much plant materials that maybe are not doing you so well. So I don't eat very many plant-based things. So I need a little extra potassium in my diet because of that. I stopped eating nightshades, so sweet potatoes and yams and all that has high potassium. I'm not getting that. So, et cetera, et cetera. I don't need too many vegetables or leafy greens to get the potassium. This is totally fine to supplement with. What people talk about in the medical field or doctors say don't take potassium or more than 100 at a time. That's totally fine. Just drink the electrolyte powder slowly so you don't drink a ton of potassium all at once, and you're good to go. Or start with a half of a scoop a day or whatever. But people definitely need electrolyte powder. So anyways, electrolyte powder has calcium, magnesium, chloride, sodium, potassium, tiny bit of iron. You usually don't want to supplement with iron, but this is such a small amount. They must have put it in there for a reason. And then, yeah, potassium and magnesium are the two big ones for electrolytes. So with that being said, magnesium is the next subject. So here's magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate, and we have a complex of 5 different magnesiums here. Vitalitown magnesium complex, extra strength. Yeah, whatever. Well, it won't. So magnesium is important for hundreds, about 300 or 320 enzymatic processes in the body. What that means is that it's good for everything in your body. So it supports your bones, muscles, brains, heart. Some people maybe have more than one heart. I don't know. Just kidding. So heart and digestive health, nervous system. So anything that has to do with brain, it's your nervous system as well. So magnesium citrate, if you have too much of this at once, it's a laxative effect. So 100 seems to be a good, okay, this one's 150 per capsule, but just try it out. The worst thing that happens is you feel some digestive discomfort or a laxative effect. So yeah, there's not much contraindications with high dosing of magnesium. You just get digestive discomfort and a laxative effect. So, magnesium glycinate, this is a good all-around go-to magnesium as well. And then, of course, the complex that I was speaking of earlier, it's got magnesium taurate, citrate, glycinate, malate, and oxide. So that's good. I mix these up. I'll have one and then another. I have like 1 or 2 in the morning and then 1 or 2 at night. So it's, for the average person, it's good to get about 300 or to 400, 2 to 400 milligrams of magnesium a day. So 1 in the morning, 1 at night, and then after a week or so, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Just build it up a little bit. And that's what you want to do with magnesium citrate too, just in case like you might be sensitive to the laxative or the digestive effects. Just start with 1, and if you really want to, empty out a little bit of the capsule and start with a half. If you're sensitive, supplements sensitive like I am, I'm sensitive to supplements, drugs, caffeine, alcohol, all those. My body is sensitive to those things. So I usually I'll get something and I'll start taking it a quarter dose or a half dose. So don't be afraid to take lower doses and build up from there. Totally fine. So magnesium is also, it needs to be taken with the vitamin B1, which is what I'll go into next. Did I talk about nitric oxide? Okay, so yep. So we're going to vitamin B1 is the next one here. There's different versions of B1. So there's B1 is thiamine. So there's what's called benfotiamine, and there's also thiamine hydrochloride. It's one of the most popular ones, cheapest, popular. You get about 5 to 10% absorption from thiamine HCl. You get about 50 to 90% absorption with benfotiamine, which is why it's very beneficial to use for medical purposes, for doing high doses and healing your body of certain issues, especially the brain and nervous system, and also especially the digestive system and the gut. SIBO and IBS particularly have a lot to do with deficiency in B1. So I follow a medical nutritionist named Elliot Overton. So it's just spelled just how it sounds, Elliot Overton at EOS Nutrition on YouTube. And he talks very detailed about vitamin B1 amongst other things, but his main thing is thiamine. And he goes into biochemistry and all the stuff that's happening in the cells and enzymes and all the processes with the different cycles, like the Krebs cycle and lactic acid cycles, where your cells and glucose, lactic acid, that kind of stuff, and what's happening in your body biochemically or biologically, if that's the right word. So definitely recommend watching his videos. And so back to magnesium. Magnesium is needed to take with thiamine. Low doses, not such a big deal, but you start taking higher doses of thiamine, you have to take it with magnesium for it to be properly assimilated and digest and used, obviously. So the body needs both of those to use them properly. So vitamin B1 is good. It's needed for the whole body. Most people are deficient. Vitamin deficiency are a real problem here in the United States. It's anybody that tells you otherwise, anyone. I've been in this game for over 20 years now. I'm studying hours and hours and hours of people, pretty much every week, hours. It's very obvious. People are overfed, too much calories, and undernourished here in the United States. It's because of processed foods. We're eating processed and ultra-processed foods that are causing the depletion of these vitamins and minerals. It's super obvious, and it's super, it's just what's happening. It's a fact. Some people have a lesser deficiency. Some people have higher deficiencies. That's the only discrepancy here. If you have chronic illness and chronic fatigue, chronic disorders, digestive disorders, nervous system disorders, fatigue issues, sleep issues, mental health issues, you are too low on vitamins and minerals, particularly B vitamins. B vitamins are so important for your mental health because it's for your brain and nervous system and your chemical balance in your brain and your hormones. Has so much to do with B vitamins. Of course, vitamin D, all the vitamins and minerals, but particularly B vitamins. They're so needed for just your energy production of your cells. The mitochondria are, the B1 is needed for the mitochondrial, the ATP production, okay? Same with all the B vitamins are in the same category as well, and some are just a little bit for different things. B12 is for this more, B3 is for this more, that, etc. So, benfotiamine, higher absorption rate. So this is a big subject. That's why I spend a lot of time on it. B1 is a big deal. I want to sound a little fanatic for a reason, because it's one of the most overlooked and under-detected deficiencies. I've been into vitamin B1 for not a super long time. But I've just been doing, I did like a boot camp deep dive on researching and studying this particularly for myself and for others. And Elliot Overton, amongst other professionals and experts in the field, including doctors. So now that you know the importance of it, you need to take a vitamin B complex that we talked about already. Hopefully we talked about this already. Or hopefully I talked about this next. So get a full B complex, and we'll talk about niacin next, and B1 I take a little higher dose. So I have a normal B complex, B1 and B3 are lower dose on here, and then B1 I take higher doses separately. B3 a little higher dose as well. So when you want to start taking B1, just start taking B1. Just start low and start slow. So if there's anything that you remember from this lecture on B1, start low, start slow, because not so much medically but you just will have what's called, you probably have what's called paradoxical reactions, detox reactions, healing reactions, or Herxheimer reactions. Those are different terms for the same thing. So it's your body kind of rearranging and healing and bringing itself back to balance. And since most of us are deficient, starting to get the right amounts or get a lot more of the amounts so you can kind of build up the deficiency, get rid of the deficiency and build up the body with vitamins again, that process comes along with some symptoms. So some are less sensitive to it, some are more. I'm personally somebody that has a lot more symptoms to things like that. So start with very low absorption rate with HCl, thiamine HCl. So you can start with 50 milligrams, 25 to 50 milligrams a day with food after breakfast. If you feel nothing from that in the morning, at lunch, maybe 5-6 hours later, take another 25. So let's say the first day you start with 25, and then maybe 25 in the afternoon. The next day, and let's say you feel a little something. Take the same thing tomorrow, maybe the next 3-4 days. Within a week, take 50 in the morning, 50 in the afternoon. See how, if there's no change at all, go to 75 in the morning, 75 in the afternoon with food. And then build up to about 100 in the morning, 100 at lunch or in the afternoon. Don't take this at night because it gives you energy. It might keep you up. If you're sensitive to it, like my wife will take 100 of Benfotiamine at night. No problem. Doesn't faze her. She's not supplement sensitive, so I can just throw these supplements at her and she can kind of start taking higher doses almost right away. But if you're someone that has sensitive, then just start slow, start low. Benfotiamine, maybe the second week or the third week, you start doing same thing, 100, same thing you were doing with HCl, like 100 in the morning, 100 in the afternoon. And then this one, 100 milligrams of benfotiamine and 25 of thiamine. So this is life extensions. Life extension. That's crazy. I don't know why it's not. It's on automatic focus. Whatever. 100 milligrams, so take one of these capsules and just dump out a bunch and just have a quarter left in there. So take about 25% of one, or half if you're feeling a little bit spunky. But start with the 25 milligrams of the benfotiamine, along with the whatever you were taking before, 100. So 100, 25 in the morning, 100, 25 in the afternoon. And then over the next week, maybe 2 weeks, you can go up from there. But so first rule, go low and go slow and go low dose and go slow. And the second one is don't up your dose until all your symptoms or any symptoms you had have gone away. Again, those paradoxical symptoms. So when I first got this, I just was like, oh, we'll try 100 milligrams of Benfo right away before taking any hydrochloric HCl. And I definitely felt a big jump in my energy. I was like, holy shit, I haven't felt like this in a while. It feels like I took like a little bit of a drug or something. I've never taken drugs before, but because I've always been sensitive to everything, so I stayed away from any kind of drugs and barely any alcohol. So I was just like, yeah, I got energy. My heart was beating strong and faster. And I was like, a little anxiety, but I was like, okay. But I just backed down and I took it back down. I did like 2 or 3 days of that, and I was like, oh, maybe I should. And then that's when I was reading all the lectures and listening to all the lectures. So I was like, okay, you know, and then I was learning as I was going, but definitely, yeah. So that's B1, vitamin B1, super important. Done. This isn't like a whole lecture on B1. There's more going on, but that's will get you started. And if you want to learn more about, stay tuned into my channel. I'll maybe do some more updates on myself. But watch Elliot Overton. Listen to some of his lectures. He's got longer and shorter videos, so you can learn about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly build up to a higher dose, and with just to give you a parameter. So thiamine HCl, you can take higher doses up to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 milligrams in a day. Do not do that right away. But again, you're only getting 5 to 10% absorption rate from from HCl. So you wouldn't want to take more than 2,000 of benfotiamine in a day. I think the max that Elliot talks about is 2,500 benfotiamine. And that's not both, that's one or the other. These are good to complement each other. So like this actually comes with HCl and benfotiamine together. But you know, you can play with it a little bit, but once you start doing high doses, pick one or the other. So if you slowly start building up, so why would somebody need high doses of benfotiamine? Brain and nervous system issues, central nervous system issues, mental health disorders, which come along with physical disorders, metabolic disorders, digestive system disorders, any chronic illness, really, autoimmune conditions, and then so peripheral neuropathy, any neuropathy, nervous system issues. If it has to do with brain issues, so that definitely means dementia and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. There's a lot of positive stories about and studies about B1 really helping people with Parkinson's, and that's no joke. This is a real thing. Again, you got to build up to it, and you got to do all the things, and you got to have a good lifestyle and good mindset and all these things, and you got to do certain things like high doses of stuff. Now, again, I'm not the 100% expert like Elliot Overton or other doctors that are working with clients. This is my own story. This is my own opinion. Do your own research, and this is not this is not a full rounded of how to do everything and all encompass. Okay, this is a lot of information. This is gonna get you started. I'm giving you some parameters, like slowly build up. Don't go over 2,500 to 3,000 with HCl, no more than, and then max is like 4,000 with people that have doing it in clinics and with doctors' advice, literally having doctors and having tests done. And benfotiamine, no more than 2,000 to 2,500 max is the high clinical dose, medicinal doses. But a lot of people can get a lot of good. I'm already getting a lot of good, a good response from 100 milligrams a day. So, yeah. So a sweet spot that I've read is about 300 to 600 milligrams a day from benfotiamine, and maybe up to 800 to 1,000 for HCl. But again, take high doses of one, take a low dose of another one, or of HCl just to kind of complement it. There's another one, I can't remember the name, it's not thiamine HCl, it's thiamine something that's pretty popular, I can't remember the name. But anyways, maybe it's in this one. Nope, that's HCl as well. So, anyways, those are your parameters. And so once people do high doses, they will come back down to kind of a lower dose. That's kind of like a sweet spot. And if you ever go off of it and if you see like issues coming back, then you want to raise it back up again. But the last thing I'll say is a processed food diet, alcohol, sugar, all the bad stuff, all the bad lifestyle stuff and the bad foods and the junk foods deplete vitamins, they deplete minerals, and especially deplete vitamin B1. Doing a lot of thinking for your job or for your work and career, do a lot of visual thinking just generally, you're using more B1. Anything that has to do with brain, nervous system, you're using B1, and also if there's issues, you need more B1. Okay, done. So, just in case I didn't do this, I have Nutra Harmony Organic B Complex. So, just real quick, this is all, everybody needs a B complex, a full B complex, even with, you know, B1 and B3 separate, like I'm taking, but this one's got B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 12. You want methylcobalamin for B12. If it's cyanocobalamin, just let it go, throw it away, or buy one that is methylated, so it's a methylcobalamin is the B12 that you want. Methylfolate is another one that you like. It's good for people to have. It's a methylated folate, but folic acid is in most of them too, and that's fine too. But if you're interested, you know, if you want a methylated version or not, that's the more absorbable folate. Supposedly for women that are pregnant or going through pregnancy or fertility. I'm not sure, double check that, look into it, methylated version for people like that. Also mental health. A lot of people have mental health issues, depression, and other mood disorders and things like that. Mental health disorders, B3, B1, and also B9, all B vitamins, but B9 methylated version. I've read that can help a lot too. So the last contraindication, or one of the last, vitamin B6, I'm sensitive to. I've tested it with blood tests. B6 for some reason goes way too high. My blood tests cause neuropathy and tingling sensations in my legs. Possibly hands too, but my right foot particularly. I stopped taking the B6 and it pretty much goes away. It has other stuff to do with it, like glucose and blood sugar stuff and stress and cortisol, but B6 was an issue as well. So, and I read that it can be an issue, and so I tied it all together. I was like, yeah, that's probably what it is. And so this one has a very low dose of B6, which is just fine. You can handle a little bit. And then the last thing, just like everything else, I started with a quarter dose. If you're sensitive to it, sensitive to vitamins and minerals, and I'll keep saying that, but don't be afraid to just take a little bit. There's no reason to have a bunch of like reactions in your body, like, oh, and then you stop taking it. But a lot of these, like this particular one is kind of a low dose of things anyways, except for, you know, B12 is a lot. I mean, B12 is always a lot, percentage and whatnot. So take a quarter dose and then a few days or a week, take a half dose and then a few days or a week, 3/4 or a full dose. Yeah, just build up. All right. Hope you learned something today. Hope you took some notes, and